Welcome to Season 3 of Skillcast, the podcast by the London Organisation of Skills Development. I'm Nurbanu, I'm your host. I'm beyond excited to kick off another season of powerful insights, real conversations, and game-changing skills. This season, we're leveling up, bringing you deeper conversations with experts and visionaries who are redefining success. From mindset shifts to must-have skills, we're unpacking what it really takes to stay ahead in an ever-evolving world. So if you're ready to learn, grow, and be inspired, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Welcome to Skillcast. I'm actually really excited for this conversation because we've briefly conversed through messaging, but you don't really get to know a person through messaging. So I'm really glad I get this opportunity to get to know you on a one-to-one basis. So generally, when you first meet someone and introduce yourself.
First of all, thank you so much for having me here. What a wonderful opportunity and great conference at a beautiful and such established place as Harvard University. I usually like to introduce myself as Dr. Ewa Kleczyk. Many people know me as Dr. E, which makes it easier for people to pronounce it, and it gave me a little bit of a nickname. So most people call me Dr. E. So we can do that.
Nice. So what is your PhD in?
My PhD is in economics. I graduated from Virginia Tech a few years back, 2008. And since then, I haven't really done economics. I moved in mostly to healthcare and to healthcare analytics. So somewhat conjoined, somewhat close, but it's been a wonderful experience.
Nice. So how did you get into health? Was it just something you just randomly fell into, or was it actual interest?
It's a combination of both. My mother was a healthcare professional for 30 years, so she's now retired. So I was always around doctors in hospitals, and because my mother was a nurse, so it was always an experience that I've had with me. But the opportunity came in as I was finishing up my PhD. One of my colleagues reached out and said, "I have a position that I think you're gonna fill in, quite well, and you're gonna really like what you're gonna be doing," which was the ability to analyze data, healthcare data, and then leverage some of my econometrics experience from my PhD and apply something that I love to a very new field and ultimately have an impact on not only the sharing the knowledge, but ultimately patients' life and how we treat patients today.
Yeah, I love that. And I really love that you're actually seeing in ways that you can actually improve the quality of people's life. Do you present much in general?
Yes, I love presenting and I love sharing. I think this is a great way for spreading the message and having something that you are passionate about. And for me, healthcare analytics and healthcare in general, it's a topic that I love talking about. This area is such a progressive right now. There is so much change happening, and with the changes in technology and how they are impacting the ability to diagnose patients, to create innovative treatments, and ultimately create accessible and affordable healthcare. I think it's an important message to talk about and see how other industries can help us and how others can help really bring that message forward and ultimately improve patients' life.
Nice. So what do you do for fun when you're not saving people's lives?
Great question. I really like nature. My husband and I, we have a lake house in Maine, so close by here, where we are in Massachusetts, so a state away. And we like sitting there and enjoying the nature and getting on a boat rides and just relaxing. Being a healthcare professional can be quite exhausting sometimes and very busy.
Especially when there's a massive strain on the healthcare system. So many more people are aging, people are getting more sicker these days. There's more health conditions than there's ever been before. It's crazy.
It is a lot going on. So I think one of the pieces that I always like to talk about is that we all need a way to forget, calm down a little bit, de-stress, and do something that we enjoy. And for me is being in the nature and being at the water and just having a very relaxed day. It's something that I truly enjoy. The other piece for me is getting involved and mentoring others. I am a big proponent. Well, it seems somewhat sounds around the professional career, but it's more about spending the time and leveraging my experiences to impact others. And there's a lot of young women who do not know exactly where they want to go and what they want to do. So I like to get involved in the community and talk to them and also volunteer in organizations, whether they are professional or others, where I can make an impact. And even if we change one one life, someone's career or someone's profession or someone's life might be changed forever. So that's another piece that I always like. I think it's for my own legacy building, but mostly to leave the world a better place, because we all need women, especially stepping up and helping us take this world to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to actually take you back to what you do for fun in for pleasure and going to Maine. I think the main thing that there's something very spiritual about nature and being around the woods, the lakes, the wild blueberries, because that's where they're from as well. And there's something, do you find that because of that, that balance that you have, that actually has a direct positive impact in the work that you do? Because obviously the work that you do is draining, but then you're also very happy about it. You're very you love what you do. Do you think having that pleasure balance in nature has that effect, or do you think it's completely separate?
I think there is everything connects, right? It's we all need to find something that we like doing, and I think very often for me, being in nature, it just grounds me. It allows me to think about the other aspects of my own well-being, my own health, and allowing me to just allow my brain to think, right? To allow it to be a little bit calmer and think about other aspects. I think we don't talk a lot about how healthcare, how ability to disconnect impacts your overall well-being, and how important this is for all of us professionals, or anyone, quite frankly, allows us to find a new meaning and really think about the bigger problem. So for me, it's really the grounding, the slowness of life being, and the color green. It's definitely calming for all of us. So I think bringing all of that back to my own personal life helps me think about bigger problems, but also helps me just to connect with my own emotions and where I am and what I want to do, because our lives are so long. We want to make sure that we are not only achieving what we want to achieve, but also living in a well-balanced and healthy way.
Do you have any other passion projects or anything else that you've got going on for you?
Sure. I am working right now on a book. So
exciting.
Yes, I had the opportunity in the last 12 months to collaborate on 2 books, and they were published, one of them last year and one just recently. But now I'm doing my own book related to sharing some of the wisdom that I have gained in my professional career. So sharing, especially with women, on some of the things that helped me to get to where I am, and creating the life that I really want, which is the balance of both aspects, the career as well as my personal life, but also providing the comfort that all of the worries that some of the women have, all of the doubts they might be having, the imposter syndrome they might be feeling, it's nothing to be ashamed of or worried about. We all are feeling that. It's a way of how you look at it, how you present yourself, and how you overcome it. Know what you want, know what you really like, challenge yourself. And being at this conference here, the caliber of individuals stepping into that group of individuals help you with really understanding and pushing yourself and breaking the different boundaries and expanding your knowledge. So for me, writing this book was in this past year was very important for my own satisfaction, but also for understanding my own journey. And I'm hoping that in the next 6 months or so, it's going to be published, and others will be able to benefit from my experiences, the wisdom, and some of the learnings that I've had.
That sounds super exciting, but just a little side note, I don't like to read, so please make it an audiobook, and I would definitely listen to it.
That. Absolutely, great feedback. I'm sure there's plenty of people who just want to listen on their way in into their work.
I love listening to books and stories and things. I'm not really much of a reader, but I will, even when I'm writing essays, I'm doing my PhD, when I'm reading my own essay, I just put it on, I just made it read aloud, and it just reads it out for me.
Yeah.
So I'm just an audio person, just in general.
And to be honest, I think what you just brought up about the way we all learn or take in information, it's very important, right? So I do think that with technology and having the audiobooks, having the ability to see it on our phones or our Kindle, whatever other ways of reading, or having the actual book, I think it's really dependent on an individual. So for those of you who might not want to be reading or who might be reading, it's always a good way to think about how we take information in. But you're not the only one. I'm not the fast reader either. I read as much as I need to, but I also like shorter snippets and listening in a lot. I'm more of an auditorial, the same way it sounds like you are as well.
Yeah. What I find really humbling about you is that you want to come present at conferences, like motivational sort of conferences, inspiring talk sort of conferences. I know you go to research conferences as well, but the fact that you go to both, and I really believe that really does benefit, because even though you were talking about tech, but the deeper meaning behind what you're doing is empowering. It's about women in tech, and like you mentioned, the whole imposter syndrome, like, how did I get here? Like, who am I? Like, what am I? And I think that's really that's really powerful. But when you, as a female in such a high caliber field, you also need a really good support system. And it really sounds like your partner, your husband in your life is your backbone. He's there supporting you. Is that something that you agree with?
Absolutely. The saying used to be that behind every powerful man there is a powerful woman. Well, I would say yes, it's actually the other way around. Behind every successful woman there is a man who's supporting her, and it's there every step of the way. And I am very blessed with a husband who is 100% supportive of everything that I do, and very often he would come with me to conferences and sit in the room or help me and listen to the speeches, provide me feedback, record them so we can then review it together. And I think that is really important. I think in any partnership, in any relationship, you want to have someone who is gonna be there and tell you the good and the bad, right? My husband sometimes tells me, you probably should have not said that, or maybe you should stand differently, and so forth. I think that critique, but knowing that someone has your best interest, is very important, and it's very empowering as well, having that. And for those men who are listening, support your wives. I think this is every woman has their dreams, and sometimes they might not be able to think about them or even figure out how to do them, but you can support them. You can sit down with them and say, what is that you want to do? Let's figure out this together and be on the journey together. I hope that I support my husband the same way as he's supporting me. So but that's one of the best parts of our relationship, that we get to do these remarkable different things together and experience them and grow at the same time as a couple and as two individuals. Because he also was listening to some of the presentations and he said, wow, these are quite powerful stories of conviction, of resilience or perseverance, and I think we should be always celebrating them.
Yeah, and it's really nice that you have shared things that you do too, even if you both have complete different interests, but the fact that you support each other and make time and space to learn what the other person is interested in, that's really nice. And I really believe these shared experiences is what keeps the couples together. So if you don't mind me asking, how did you meet your husband?
Great question. So we both have friends. We went to University of Maine together, but we never met at the University of Maine. We actually met down in Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, where I was working, and now we currently live in. And we met through two of our friends, and we met, and the rest is history. I was commuting to see him, and vice versa. We had a long-term relationship for a couple of years, and then he moved down to Pennsylvania, and 3 years after started dating, we got married. So
how long have you been together so far?
It's been 15 years. So, and married for 13. So it's been a wonderful journey, and we are really loving being together and spending the time and growing. I think we all want someone in our lives who's gonna love you unconditionally, is gonna be there, and I think. You can't be successful, or you can be always, achieving your goals without that support. And that might be whoever that might be. It doesn't have to be a spouse. It can be anyone who's supportive of you. But I think having someone that is not only my spouse, but my best friend and my biggest advocate, I think it makes it much better.
When you found your husband, were you looking for a relationship at the time, or was it just something just natural, that was just random?
I was not. I almost gave up on relationships.
Really?
I was
Okay.
I'm like, I am done. It's been a lot of dating, and I think many things fall in when you don't look for them.
When
right?
you don't look for it, and then when you just like, okay, I think this is it now, and I think the universe has this way of bringing things to you, and I think that was your time.
It was my time, and I would say is for those any young women or young men, go outside of your comfort zone. If someone comes in that interests you, my husband is not someone that I would have envisioned ever marrying, but I'm so glad because we are so different, but yet so similar. And I think the basis, the underlying beliefs are the same, but we are so different from our career point of view, from our journey, where we came from, but that actually unites us and help us in a way of expanding our own boundaries and trying something different. Because I think if you only are within your own circle, you can't grow. But if you have someone else being very different, and again, with the common boundaries, right, or common beliefs, I think that helps really settle you and ground you, and then create your own world together where both can coexist at the same time.
Yeah, it really sounds like you need that polarity. It's if there is a reason why the opposites attract, because there are couples who are best friends, like you're best friends, but you know those couples that just are very, very similar, and those couples, it's great initially because you have this immediate spark, this immediate connection when in the early stages. But then what they find is that they are bored of each other, and that's what pulls them apart. But when you've got two people who are completely different, that take the time to get to know each other, and they may not be those like chemistry and that sparks, but then naturally that if the chemistry happens, the sparks happen, and then the rest is, I guess, it's just history, right? It really seems that way, and I really find that when you're looking for something and you're trying so hard, it just, and because at the time you obviously, it sounds like you probably wanted to have a relation, you wanted to settle down, but because you're trying so hard, like regardless, you just wanted to make it work, that it just wasn't working.
Correct.
And then when you were like, okay, you were a bit like, get that, yeah, whatever, and then you see him pursuing you, I think that's when you know you've got the real deal. And I really feel that's had a massive impact in your entire who you are as a being, and it's shifted you as a person. So that sounds amazing.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
that.
you. And I would say this is absolutely right. I think is the moment, as with many things, we very often things come into us when we don't expect them, but when we are open for them. And I would say to all of the listeners here, be open for the unexpected, because if you always want to just do something in one lane, you might lose a lot. Actually, you might not get the opportunity of your life. And I think especially in this world right now, things are changing continuously. We are evolving. We are receiving so many new opportunities and information, and people come into our lives. Be open to them, because that's where I think not only you're growing, but also this is where you can pivot, when you can learn, when you can take the next position in your life, or you can meet someone who's gonna impact, you can be with for the rest of your life, whether it's just as friends or partner or whatever other aspects of their life is. So I say to all of the listeners, it's not only about knowing where you're headed, but also being open to changing the pathway and being open to trying to see where else can I go and where else can I grow.
I love that. I think that's a beautiful way to end, and just ending on that beautiful high note of words of wisdom. Thank you so much for joining me, Dr. E. So
thank you so much. Thank you.